Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Game Week 22 deadline stream. Hope you are all doing well. I have not made a transfer. I didn't stay up all night thinking about Chris Wood. I actually didn't, by the way. There have been times, especially early on in the season, where I've been up till like 1 a.m. thinking about what move I'm going to do. Last night I got to bed at a pretty nice time. I'm still thinking about bringing Chris Wood in there. I knew he was going to rise in price last night. I didn't want to rush the decision. But Solanke to Chris Wood is still tempting. Only because I'm on 4 transfers, by the way. If I was on 3, I wouldn't be doing it. But because I'm on 4, I'm potentially going to get to next week and not have any transfers to make. And if I can't be on 5 transfers and not have one to make. Like that's my main problem. And I could do like Raya to Alisson next week, but I don't know if I want Alisson. I think I prefer to get Pickford, but I'm not going to want to do Raya to Pickford next week. So, I don't know. I'm rolling. Anyway, is Saliba out? There's like a rumour going around from one account, from what I can tell, and that's about it. So how true that is, I really don't know. I guess sometimes there's no smoke without fire, right? But there's not been like a huge amount of Arsenal accounts that I've seen tweeting about him missing. So I don't know how much emphasis to really put on that. If you've got Saliba, obviously it's annoying. If you've got a decent defender, probably don't worry about it too much. It wouldn't massively put me off like playing Gabriel and Raya. Like, of course, it's not an ideal situation to not have Saliba in the team because he's amazing, but I'm still just going to play Gabriel and Raya. It's not going to make me. It's not going to make me change my mind on that. Yeah, lots of people going on about like rolling the transfers and it's not worthwhile, but we won't know whether it's worthwhile until the end of the season. Like when I was getting green arrows and not making many transfers, nobody batted an eyelid. Now because I got a red arrow, it's like I can't believe you're saving so many transfers. But to be honest, last week, the player that hurt me was Amad Diallo, and before the game week started, not many people were talking about bringing him in, so I don't really mind too much. How do I get 4 free transfers? You can save up to 5 now. The cap is 5, not 2 anymore. Chris Wood's fixture's not amazing, but I guess he can score. Well, here's the thing, right? If I bring Chris Wood in this week, I suspect I'm benching him next week. Because I'm never going to bench Palmer or Salah. João Pedro's got Everton at home and Chris Wood's got Bournemouth away. I'm not going to bench Isak. Mbeumo's got Palace away, and obviously he's on penalties, 90 minutes, amazing. A bit like Chris Wood, to be fair, but Palace away is probably a bit easier than Bournemouth away. And then Eze's got Brentford at home. So, like, if I bring him in, I'm probably benching him next week. To be fair, I'm sorry, Rodgers has got West Ham at home. If I keep Solanke, then he's got Leicester at home next week, so I'd probably just bench Rodgers. Basically, in my position with 4 transfers, I really need some chaos to happen. Where everyone else is scrambling, taking hits, and I can just deal with it. But it doesn't... Like, I've gone for some really like decent enough long-term picks, but because no injuries have been picked... Like, I'm not wishing injuries on players, right? But we know injuries happen in FPL. Because none have happened, I'm in a position where I've just got nothing to do, really. Or nothing I feel like I need to do. Anyway, stuck between Wood and Haaland, I would definitely go Haaland. Fixture suggests Wood. I would go Haaland over Chris Wood, personally. Ipswich is not... Like, Ipswich away is definitely tougher than Southampton at home. But Haaland is still Haaland. Like, put it this way. Even if we accept that Haaland's not been as good... Or sorry, it's a bit harsh, right? He's still got... I think he's still the leading goal scorer. But he's not been as good as we expected based on the start of the season, right? And his underlying numbers have dropped. He's like 0.72 or 0.71 expected goals per 90. That's very similar numbers to Isak. So let me frame your question a different way. If you were stuck between Wood at home to Southampton captain or Isak away to Ipswich, who would you choose? I suspect you would choose Isak. And for that reason, I would probably choose Haaland. Also, he's a massive differential. Which 2 to play from João Pedro, Robinson and Munoz? I'd probably play João Pedro and Robinson. I think I've got Robinson ahead of Munoz, but not Castagna and Anderson, basically. At what point does Ahmad become a better overall pick than Bruno? Well, I mean, everyone's saying that. I saw No, I'm not going to get into that, actually. Yeah, he's a better pick. Bench Watkins or Mbeumo. Watkins, I guess, because he's away. I mean, if Saliba's not playing, then maybe Watkins is a bit better, but I'd probably play Mbeumo. Is Palmer captain a silly move? If you believe in the minutes, not really. So obviously, because Isak got a yellow flag last week and a lot of us took captaincy off, and then he smashed it with 16 points, and because it was also against Wolves like Palmer is, there's a lot of comments of, you made the mistake last week, why are you making the mistake again by taking the armband off? But obviously, if Isak had come off after 60, 70 minutes and only had one goal, no one would be talking about it, right? At the end of the day, if Palmer and Salah were fully fit and both going to play 90 minutes, I probably would go Palmer, because I know everyone's going to go Salah and he's going to be super high owned, so I want to just take that slight risk. But because Palmer's flagged, what's the point in taking the risk? Even if it's minimal, even if you're 98, 99% sure Palmer's going to start, and I am, by the way, what's the point? It's not like Salah's bad, right? Salah's amazing, so it's just, that's the only reason I've taken it off him. We know you're annoyed from your latest video's comment. Go into it, please. Which video and which comments? If I'm annoyed about it, you're going to have to let me know what I'm annoyed about. Same goalkeepers as you, play Raya or Fabianski. Answers on your screen. With Palmer a doubt and Ahmad's hat-trick in mind, would you still start Jackson ahead of Ahmad? Yes. I think Jackson... Okay, Chelsea not going to be as good without Palmer, but Wolves at home is a really good fixture. I still really like Jackson. Is Wood captain logical? Personally, I think Palmer, Salah, Isak, Haaland are better captains, but there's nothing wrong with Chris Wood captain if that's what you want to do. Also, by the way, this has been running through my mind, right? Chris Wood's going to score a hat-trick. It just feels like it. I triple captain Haaland against Southampton, 1 goal. I bought in João Pedro before Southampton, he blanked. I bought in Strand Larsen before Southampton, he blanked. People have just bought Fernandes before Southampton, he's blanked. Chris Wood's going to score a hat-trick and I'm going to avoid him. I can just tell. Honestly, I can't... If you'd said to me at the start of the season I would have fear of missing out over Chris Wood, I would have laughed at you. Start Rodgers or João Pedro. João Pedro. Palmer captain if he plays. Yeah, just discuss that. 4 free transfers, Gabriel Sarr, Højlund to Murillo, Gordon, Wood. Sounds quite good, yeah. Or Sarr, Højlund, Armstrong to Elanga, Wood, Raul Jimenez. No, I think the Gordon Wood one is better, to be honest. Which two? Oh, yeah, did that one. Isak about to hit the early kickoff curse. Honestly, I didn't even know they were playing first. It's not something I really check. That's good to know because, do you know what? I'm going to probably watch that game. I don't really want to watch that game because I only have Isak, so I'm going to need Isak to blank, and I don't have Gordon and Hall. Even Semenyo is quite good. Which game is on at 3 p.m. in Ireland today? There's only like 3 games, so it's probably Liverpool, I would guess. I suspect they'll want it to be Liverpool. Let me see. 3... What? They haven't got one on today. They must have. Today, Saturday. Oh, that's Friday. Yeah, it's Brentford versus Liverpool. Okay. So I'm going to watch Newcastle, Bournemouth, then Liverpool, Brentford, and then Arsenal, Villa, I guess. Watch Morgan Rogers wipe out my double Arsenal clean sheet. If Salah play out from the back like they usually do, Wood will have a field day, but Salah and Palmer have more capability of getting a massive haul. Yeah, honestly, I think there's a lot of recency bias with Chris Wood. And I think when I say that, people always either they assume or they get annoyed because they think I'm saying Chris Wood's not a good option. And that's not what I'm saying, but put it this way, right? Chris Wood's done amazing this season, right? He's got 3 goals in a row, which is part of the reason people want to captain him this week. Obviously, Southampton at home is a big factor, but the fact he's just got 3 goals in a row definitely helps. Before that, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had 2 goals in 8 games, in 8 game weeks, right? Before the 3 goals in a row. If he'd come off the back of that run and had Southampton at home, nobody would be talking about captaining him. Especially if Salah had just done well in the previous game. I think basically Salah's blanked against Forest. Woods scored 3 in a row and he's got Southampton, and so people are talking about it. Had Salah got a brace against Forest, there'd be no talk. Like, for me, it's massive recency bias. But he's still great. What does your wife think to you watching football day? I don't think she'll give a you know what because she's away with friends this weekend. It's Messi Lingard all over again. Yeah, I mean, again, I feel like I've got to say this just in case Praz is watching, especially because I've seen him mention it on Twitter a few times. I've got in Burmo, like he is massively overperforming as well. So I'm not saying that no one deserves the Chris Wood points, but like captain, come on. I feel like we're going to be talking about this all stream as well. Stop with the ifs. A good striker in good form against a poor team at home. There's no recency. Like, I'm telling you now, it's massive recency. But a couple of weeks ago, everyone was like, you can't captain anyone but Salah. A couple of weeks later, now Chris Wood's captain, apparently. It's massive recency bias. You're telling me if Salah had just, like... When did Salah a few weeks ago? Let me just bring it up here. I don't really want to argue about Chris Wood all day. Like, it's probably not good. Yeah, Salah, like, between game weeks 11 to 14, he got 14, 13, 13, 18 points. You're telling me if he'd done that in the previous 4 game weeks, everyone would be talking about Chris Wood? Come on. It never would have happened. Let me tell you that on the one hand, you have Solanke, who's not performing well enough. On the other hand, you have Wood, who will probably score 1, maybe more, so buy Wood. Yeah? I don't think Southampton will frustrate Forest all that much, to be honest. Like, we shouldn't put too much emphasis on what happened in the last Southampton game because they were playing Man United, and Man United have a way of making teams look better than they are. And that's not to discredit Southampton. They played really well. Sulemana, Dibbling, etc., really good. And it wasn't just a case of Man United playing bad, but you know, had Southampton played Arsenal or Liverpool, the game would not have gone like that. 2 free transfers worth a goalkeeper change. Fleck and Bruno to Sells Ahmad. No, I don't think you should be buying Sells right now, personally. Like, I get why you want to get rid of Flecken, but I'd rather go to a double game week goalkeeper instead. AZ, how's it going? Would you say that all of Colwill, Palmer, and Sarr have a 70% plus chances? I think Colwill and Palmer will probably start, yes. Sarr I'm a little bit less sure about because apparently it's a hamstring issue. It doesn't sound bad, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the squad. But I don't know if I'd put him at such a high chance of starting. João Pedro, Rogers, and Harwood Bellis my cover. I mean, that's probably fine. I don't think I would use a transfer. I mean, if you want to move Sarr to, like... I guess everyone's moved... I mean, no one's talking about Elanga now because Ahmad scored a hat-trick, right? But if you want to move Sarr to a different cheap midfielder, I don't mind that. I guess it depends how many... Oh, you got 2 transfers. I'd be tempted to hold. I think Colwill and Palmer will start. And Harwood Bellis is keeping a clean sheet this week, probably. Lewis, Hall, Timber, Robinson start Semenyo or in Burmo. Semenyo. I swapped Bruno for Semenyo last... I think Semenyo. I guess in Burmo's on penalties, right? Semenyo's got the better fixture. I know you've got Lewis Hall, so you don't want to... I guess if you don't want to play Semenyo against Lewis Hall, go for Burmo. I swapped Bruno for Semenyo last game week. I hate FPL at times. Yeah, FPL sucks. Anyway, this game week I've done Sarr to Ahmad. Nice. And injured Pinnock to Van Dijk, ready for the double game week. Nice. Sounds good. Start Semenyo or João Pedro. João Pedro, I think. Just for the penalties. It's close, though. Bench Visser or Munoz. Probably Munoz. Keen to Milenkovic and bench Mitchell. Milenkovic is good, yeah. Good this week. I'm not sure there's many clean sheets afterwards. Bench boost for Bruggen. Man United away, Timber, Villa at home, Mateta, West Ham away, Roger. It's an okay bench boost, yeah. There is part of me that questions whether that's really your bench, like Mateta and Rogers, 2 attackers. That means you're playing a back 4. Like, I suggest one of the defenders is probably, unless you've got like Gabriel, Hull, I don't know who else, but Mateta I'd probably play against ahead of most defenders. 3 free transfers: Saliba, Strand Larson to Williams, Wood. Got Timber and Van Dijk. Nico Williams seems to be pretty nailed at the moment. I don't know if that will last forever because Moreno obviously had the shirt originally, but I don't think Nuno is going to change it while it's working, but he could change it at some point, I guess. Yeah, that's fine as long as you're happy with the fixtures afterwards. And if you're happy with... Like, just keep in mind, there's a double in 24. Like you probably will want 3 Liverpool players at a minimum. You may want 1 or 2 Everton. Probably not, but you may do. And then you've got a blank in 29 to deal with. So just think about how many transfers you're going to need for that. Yeah. Start 3. Lewis Hall, Munoz, Castagna, Eze, Elanga, and Jimenez. Eze and Jimenez, you'll definitely start. And Elanga, right? Elanga's got... Well, you say start 3, but like it's not start 3, is it? Because you can't bench 3 defenders. You're playing all those attackers. And then the defenders I would play in the order you've written them. Enzo to Ahmad, or Bruno, or Mbeumo. I would still buy Bruno probably, but Ahmad is great value. Like if you buy Bruno, what's that going to stop you doing in the future? I wouldn't buy Mbeumo this week. Enzo to Ahmad is fine. I suspect Enzo will play. Bench Rodgers or Watkins? Definitely Rodgers. Out of those two. I went Raya and Colwell to Pickford and Murillo. Pretty nice, yeah. I mean, I personally prefer Ray in the next 2 game weeks to Pickford, but you probably need the money, which is fair. I can't. If I could do Raya to Pickford this week and João Pedro to Chris Wood, I'd probably consider it. I think. Start Semenyo, Hall, Van Dijk, or Robinson. Semenyo. I think. Start Robinson instead of Sarr for safety. I think that's fine to do that, yeah. Triple captain Chris Wood this week. Yeah, definitely triple captain Chris Wood. Definitely no. Don't triple captain Chris Wood. I'm not even sure Chris Wood's in the top 3 best captains this week, personally. Bruno Fernandes only scored 2 non-penalty goals all season. Why do I own him? Do you know, I couldn't resist. Especially because Man United won. I couldn't resist tweeting after the Man United game, I can't believe people own Bruno Fernandes, because that's the only comment I've had all season. In fact, it's quite funny, right? So for the first 20 game weeks, I got comment after comment about Bruno being rubbish. For game week 21, the questions changed to, should I captain Bruno? And then for game week 22, it's back to, you're obsessed with Bruno. Why do you have Bruno? Why do you keep talking about him? Like, it's so funny how quickly things change. How's it going? 2 to start out of Trent, Munoz, Visser. I'd probably start Trent and Visser, I think. I don't think you can bench Trent. Yeah, Bruno 2 bonus. That's a good point. No returns. That's how good he is. Imagine if he got a return. He didn't actually play that well in that game. He never really came that close to getting a return, to be honest. Play or sell Lewis for Forest defender. Or hold for a double. Rico Lewis, he doesn't have a double anytime soon. I think he's sellable. The only thing I'll say about Forest defenders is how, I don't really see too many clean sheets after this week. If you've got them, you're obviously not selling. But how important is it to have one in your team? Like, what weeks are you going to play them or need to play them? Bench one of Lewis Hall, Robinson, or João Pedro. I'd probably bench... probably Robinson. God, he's going to get another 2 assists or something. Who should I replace Jesus with? Visser or Mateta? I think just because of the fixtures coming up, I'd probably go... See, Visser's very good from 23. I'm just not sure if I could buy him before Liverpool, so I'd probably lean towards Mateta. But value-wise, Visser's probably going to be better from next week. Jota worth holding over Semenyo despite the knock? No. In my opinion, no. Jota hasn't started a Premier League game since he came back from injury. And now he's got another knock. And I know it's only minor, right? So he'll probably be back soon. Maybe he's even in the squad for Brentford. It could happen. But he has not started a Premier League game since game week 7. That's like September or October. The fixture... Oh God, I feel like such a broken record because I can't find anything new and interesting to say about Liverpool attackers, right? But I get it. You want to hold him because after this it's Ipswich double Wolves. How many games of those is he going to start? The thing for Liverpool as well, which I can't remember if I mentioned it on videos this week. I probably should have. I think I mentioned it last week when I was talking about Trent. Liverpool have quite a few... Because of how well they've done in the Champions League, they've got quite a few games they can potentially rest the likes of Diaz and Gakpo. So, for example, right, they've got Brentford away this week. I think it's almost certain that Diaz and Gakpo start that game. Maybe if Gakpo's sore throat was really bad and he didn't train well yesterday, Nunez will start. But it's almost certainly going to be Diaz and Gakpo. Then they've got Champions League home game on Tuesday. Like, if Jota's back for that, you start him in that game, right? And then you probably play your first choice, Diaz. And by the way, it doesn't always work like this, but it's potentially how it could work. Diaz and Gakpo, again, you play them against Ipswich. Maybe you take them off early. And then it's an away game in the Champions League. At that point, they've probably got top 8 secure. And of course, you want to finish as high as possible, but you also want to win the Premier League, right? So you can bench them again midweek. Then you've got the away game against Bournemouth. Then you've got the home game against Spurs, but it's Carabao Cup, so he may well rotate again in that game. Like, I think if he had Jota and Nunez on the pitch, he could maybe foresee winning that game against Spurs. Maybe Diaz and Gakpo playing that, I don't know. But then you've got FA Cup 4th round, so you can definitely rest players in that. Then you've got Everton away in game week 24. So, anyway, that's a long way of saying I reckon I would sell Jota. I think it's what's it called? Sunken cost. Is that the right word? Because you've got him, you feel like you've got to keep him. I don't think he's great. I really don't. He's brilliant when he gets minutes. I just don't see him coming. Sunk cost fallacy. Yeah, that's it. I missed a word, didn't I? I said sunken cost. I missed two words. I got one word kind of half right, so it's okay. Having established the 70% plus chance of them starting, would you go Colwell or João Pedro? I'd play João Pedro. For sure. Oh, both and bench start. No, Colwell's pretty good this week if he starts, but I think I would take the risk on Sarr in your case. Loving the content. I'm glad someone is. Thank you very much. I've benched Sells. Why? You've benched Sells. The thing is, right, you need to be realistic about what your bench boost is. You can't put Sells on the bench and say that I'm bench boosting. Like, Sells is arguably the best goalkeeper this week. So whoever's in your 11 should probably be on the bench. Trent Alexander-Arnold should not be benched. So he's not really on your bench boost. Ahmad, maybe. He might be your 8th best attacker. That's possible. Palmer should not be on your bench. Like, that's not a realistic bench boost. So put the realistic players on the bench and then decide if you still want a bench boost. Strand Larson, Mbeumo, Colwell out for Aina, Ahmad, Wood for a -4 hit. I don't like the idea of selling Mbeumo for a -4 because the fixtures for next week are pretty good. So I don't think I would do that, no. I guess you need to sell Mbeumo to fund the other moves. I probably wouldn't do it. Sarr or Ahmad and João Pedro or Vardy. To start, Ahmad for sure, and then... Ooh, Leicester's at home, right? Who are Leicester? Oh, to Fulham. I'd start Vardy over João Pedro, I think. Adam, thank you. Captain Foden, Salah or Palmer? Salah for me. Bench, João Pedro, Lewis Hall, Robinson, Rao or Robinson. If you're just benching one of them, I'd probably bench Robinson. Start Munoz or Hall. Hall stuck with Muniz. Transfer or start. Get rid of him. Raul Jimenez is clearly first choice. Do you think you could realistically get from 3 million to top 100,000 at this stage? Yes. I think it's still possible. I was thinking about overall rank this morning, because that's what I do on my Saturday mornings. We just hit 440,000 subscribers, by the way. Thank you very much. And I'm 180k. What's my realistic expectations? I was thinking it's still only we're only going into game week 22. There's still plenty of points to be played for. As that second Liverpool attacker for the double, I think Gakpo is so tempting. Arne Slot loves him. Yeah, honestly, I'm very tempted to go Gakpo, right? And it's almost how I've taught myself into selling Solanke for Wood. So I go Solanke to Wood this week, and then I do Wood to Gakpo next week. And then I've got my 3 Liverpool players locked. The only thing is, Solanke's got pretty good fixtures. I'm really stuck on what I'm going to do for the Liverpool double. Because if I want to go for Van Dijk, I've got to sell Gabriel. And I don't know if I want to sell Gabriel. I really just don't know if I want to do that. But if I don't sell Gabriel, realistically, the only Liverpool players I can get are Alisson or Gakpo or Diaz. But of course, something could crop up next week, and Mbeumo could get injured, then all of a sudden I might be thinking about Diaz. So I'm a little bit tempted to go Solanke to Wood, still have 4 transfers next week, and then do Wood to Gakpo. And just I think if you can nail the start, like this is the problem with Liverpool attackers, right? If you can nail them with the minutes for the fixtures, they're pretty good, right? Gakpo against Ipswich at home, double game week. Wolves at home. How can we get 3 starts out of those 4 games? I think so. It's a little bit tempting. It's a little bit out of. It's not really what I would usually do, but it's a little bit tempting. Solanke to Wood to Gakpo. Then I've got my 3 Liverpool players. I've still got 4 transfers going into game week 24, so I can get 1 or 2 Everton players. It's tempting. It's tempting. I wouldn't go Jackson captain personally. Where possible, I prefer just going for penalty takers. It's not to say you only ever go for penalty takers, but it's very hard to justify otherwise. Haaland and Salah captain. I think Salah's probably better, but I do like Haaland as a differential this week. Captain Isaac, Palmer or Salah. Answers on your screen. By the way, I definitely wouldn't start Miniz for whoever asked that question. All of a sudden, I know this sounds a bit dramatic, but Arsenal seem to be out of form and people are wanting other players, but to go without any Arsenal is mad. Bring back Saka. I think it's fine. I don't think the Solanke out moves are worth the extra transfer. Yeah, it's hard to justify because next week Solanke has Leicester at home. So, as much as everyone would prefer to have Gakpo, I think that's fine. Like, there's not much in it between the two. It's not like either of them are on penalties. But like, I don't know what I'm going to do next week. Genuinely, like, I don't know if people have watched yesterday's video. Let me just bring it up here, right? I need to change the music. I'm going to put some Queen on. Why not? Let me just bring this up here. Find me somebody to love like Chris Wood. Okay, so this is. I'm going to have to make this a bit smaller so it fits on the screen. That's probably quite. It's how I've got it set up on my stream, right? So anyway, like you can just about see this, right? This is my team for this week, and then this is the team for game week 23. Right, this is with no. So bearing in mind, this team has 5 free transfers next week. What move do I make next week? I don't really want to sell my Arsenal defenders. I'm definitely not selling Trent. Munoz is up against Mbeumo, so it's not ideal, but it's still a good fixture. Palmer Salah going nowhere. Eze's got Brentford at home. Isak Southampton away. Solanke's Leicester at home. João Pedro Everton at home. Like, none of those players realistically need changing. Like, not need. It's not a massive problem. And I've got Rodgers on the bench with West Ham at home. So even if one of those players gets injured, I've got cover. And I've only got 0.1 million in the bank. Why is Eze so easy out? The guy's got like goal, assist, and assist in the last 3 game weeks. Why is he not? He's in form. Eze's got the same amount of returns as Chris Wood in the last 3 game weeks. He's in form. Come on. Maybe we should be captaining Eze. I wouldn't take out Solanke. I just look to take João Pedro out for Gakpo next week. Yeah, but that's easy to say, but there's a big price difference. It's not easy to upgrade João Pedro. Probably takes 3 transfers. And I've got lots, but if you want to make history, be the first manager to burn a 5th transfer. So I'll tell you what the move is next week, by the way. The move is Anderson to Mykolenko. Yeah, exactly. Lewis has spotted it, right? I've got 0.1 million in the bank, which you can't see. It's Anderson to Mykolenko. And even if Mykolenko loses his place, it's probably not the end of the world. You keep Eze over in Burma for sure, depending on chip strategy. Didn't appreciate you had so many free transfers, so don't hate getting Wood. Exactly. Maybe I can get Chris Wood. The thing is, worst case, I get to next week with 4 free transfers and I just do Wood back to Solanke. You don't need one Nottingham Forest player. They're not essential. I'm not having that. So yeah, Anderson to Mykolenko might be my move. Because I don't feel like I'm going to go triple Everton. So even if Everton sign a new left back, I don't think I block myself from much. It would be annoying to have a player that's not going to play, but I probably will target at least 1 or 2 Everton players. I might even get Calvert-Lewin. I've already looked, right? Solanke to Calvert-Lewin lets me do Rodgers to Fernandes. Not in 2 moves. I think I've got to make another move, but still. João Pedro to Gakpo. I don't mind that. If you've got the money to do it in 1 move. Like Fabianski / Verbruggen. Fabianski for sure. Captain Salah, Haaland. I'd probably go Salah as the best option, but I do like Haaland as a differential. Free chance. Is this a roll or make a move? Well, what moves are you considering, Dave? The team looks pretty good to me, but I don't know what your future plans are. Like, there's no players in there I would panic about, honestly. I think that team might actually be better than mine, to be honest. I'm a little bit jealous. Who do I bench out of all good ones need to be benched? Huh? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wow. You got to bench one of those attackers. Oof. I mean, honestly, I would probably bench Gibbs White and play Gordon and Bruno. But I suspect everyone hates that. Bench one of Gabriel, Munoz, Hall, or Aina. You can't bench Aina. I would probably bench Munoz. It feels wrong to... If you don't want to bench Gibbs White because he's got Southampton at home, then just go for Gordon, in my opinion. I would play Bruno, but that's me. That's me. I've looked at João Pedro to Calvert-Lewin. Don't think I can go there again. Yeah, I know. I don't think I can either. The thing is, right, if I do Solanke to Calvert-Lewin for the double, I can pretty much just not play him most other weeks as long as my attackers stay fit. But that relies on like playing João Pedro every week. I don't think I can go to Calvert-Lewin. I really don't. If he blanks against Leicester, that's it. It's over, isn't it? And also, I don't think I've mentioned this, but I've seen other people talking about it. Double game week 24, the deadline for game week 24 is the 1st of February. The transfer window for January, which sounds weird to say because it's going to go into February, the January transfer window shuts on the 3rd of February. So the window's still going to be open after the deadline. And David Moyes has already made comments about how, like, did you see the comments from David Moyes, by the way? He said he's already burnt out trying to... I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but it was like, I'm burnt out from trying to figure out how I'm going to get Everton to score goals. He basically said he's already struggling and they need players. So they could sign another forward. I don't get why everyone's so excited about Everton players in the double. Well, I mean, from what I'm saying, what makes you think I'm excited? There's no excitement. I just might do it anyway. I don't think I can... Calvert-Lewin's just rubbish. This is why I think I should have used more transfers. Why do people think Everton will sign a left back when they can't score goals? Well, you're allowed to sign more than one player. There's not a one player rule in the transfer window. Did Vissa and Bruno to Wood and Gordon with 2 free transfers good moves? Probably for this week. Long term, not so sure, but we'll see. Rather rare to pick for the Mikalenko. Yeah, but it's also about order of transfers, right? This is the thing. If I had 3 transfers this week, I'd definitely roll because then I'd have 4 next week and I could roll into the double. But because I got 4, I'm going to probably get to a position next week where I've got 5 and nothing to do. That's the problem. And I'm not going to want to do Raya to Pickford next week. I might just have to do it, but I don't want to do it. I think Raya against Wolves away is better. Pickford and Mikalenko and Njai. Njai's underlying numbers are awful. Awful. It's like 0.15 expected goal involvement per 90. That is terrible for an attacker. Like, it's really bad. That's half of what Chris Wood is. Like, that's probably less... Like, that's pretty similar to like a Munoz or a Gabriel or a Milenkovic, who are all defenders. And again, that's not to say that Njai is a bad player, but the stats do not scream FPL returns to me. Why not Captain Isak? I just think Salah's better. In your opinion, has the ability to hold up to 5 transfers changed the way you manage your team? Maybe a little bit. But the thing is, if we say it's changed the way I manage my team, I'm basically going for nailed 90-minute players that are on penalties a lot of the time. Like, they've probably always been good picks. So, I don't know, maybe. Like, if there wasn't a double and a blank coming up, I probably would have used more transfers. But I feel like I'm holding. I feel like I'm holding transfers for a double. I just don't really care about that much outside of Liverpool. Like I'm almost certain I'm going to get Pickford. I've probably made the least amount of transfers ever so far in a season. The year we can stack 5, typical. That's a good thing, though. The thing is, as ever, right? Like, there's a lot of outcome bias. So because I've not had much, like, let's say Palmer gets properly injured, and so does Isak. Like, there'll be people sat there with one transfer that all of a sudden have to take like -4s, -8s. I can just deal with that and get that money spent like straight away. Or even popular defenders like Gabriel and Raya go and get injured or whatever. Like, I'm in a really good position, but it doesn't matter, right? If all of a sudden we got someone's just reminded me of something I meant to do this week I haven't done, not FPL related. Anyway, start Gabriella or in Burmo. I'd probably start in Burmo. Cunha to Wood, bench Shah next game week, or roll to 3 free transfers. I quite like Cunha to Wood, to be honest, if you can do it in one move. Thoughts on this wildcard? Sells, Gabriel, Trent, Hall, and Burmo, Palmer, Salah, Elanga, Wood, Isak, Jimenez, Fabianski, Mikalenko, Greaves, Rogers. I think you can do better than Greaves, personally. Like there's a lot of cheap defenders that are just better than him. Sells is fine, I guess, but I don't see why you wouldn't go for Pickford probably for the double, even though you've got Mikalenko. You've got Trent, Salah. You've only got 2. Like, Liverpool have literally got a double in Game Week 24. You've only got 2 players. Now, I haven't thought about what a wildcard team would look like this week, but I know for sure it would have 3 Liverpool on it. Unless you've got like 4 transfers, 3 or 4 transfers stacked, and you're going to bring one in later. That's just my opinion. I'm an idiot. Can't decide who to captain, Salah or Isak. Flip a coin if you think it's that close. Bench who for Sarr? Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Hall or Aina? Honestly, I'd be tempted just to play them all ahead of him. They're all pretty good this week. Start Robinson or Semenyo. Semenyo, bench 1, Ahmad, Rao, Jimenez and Burmo. It's between Ahmad and Burmo. I'd probably always play the penalty taker in that situation. Ahmad's good, but I'd probably play in Burmo, even if it is Liverpool. 1 free transfer, 1.4 in the bank. I've got Sarr, Palmer and Colwill. I suspect Palmer and Colwill will play. Rogers, Rico, Lewis and Vandenberg on the bench. Rogers is a bit rubbish, but he's not... If you had to play him, I guess it's not world-ending. Rico Lewis is probably going to start, so I think he's fine. I'd be tempted to roll and hope for the best. So I think I should take Sarr out. It depends how good your bench is. I think most people should probably keep Sarr and hope for the best. João Pedro to Wood have 3 free transfers would leave me with 0.4 in the bank. As long as you're well set up for the double, whatever players and stuff you want to get for that, yeah. Just remember, there's also like a lot of people are not going to want a free hit 29. You've also got to deal with that soon-ish. Who do I bench out of all? Oh, I did that one. All the good ones. Best Saliba replacement team is picked for Gabriel, Saliba, Trent, Salah, bench of Fabianski, Enzo. If I was buying a defender this week, it's really tricky because the best ones are probably Hall and a Forest defender. But Lewis Hall, he might blank in 29. The fixtures after 24 are not amazing. I'd probably buy a Liverpool defender. If you're happy to double up on Liverpool defence, I'd probably go to Van Dijk if you can. Maybe risk Canate. Otherwise, I guess Forest defender. I don't like the fixtures after this week. You'd have to check how well they rotate with the rest of your team. I love how everyone has benching headaches and I'm sat here having to play Konza if Palmer doesn't play. I mean, I've got a slight benching headache this week, like Munoz versus Anderson, but like it's pretty minor, really. The problem with making free transfers in 29 is you probably want them straight back, but that's when I'm going to wildcard. Like the bigger concern is not selling them and then needing them back. The bigger concern is the team value. Start Palmer or Martinelli? Palmer for me. I think Palmer will start. So I'd probably play him. Wine Burma over Rogers. He's at home. Like Liverpool at home is easier than Arsenal away. Probably even without Saliba. Sorry, my eye is itching. Yeah, and he's on penalties. And he's pretty much guaranteed to play 90 minutes. I think I'm surprised that you're asking, to be honest. I think in Burma over Rodgers is a pretty simple pick, I think. I know in Burma blanked last week and Rodgers didn't, but still. Why in Burma over? I just spoke about that. Surely nobody would play Rodgers over in Burma. I don't get it. Start Trent or Castagna, Trent, Sarr or Rodgers, Sarr. I would take the risk again because Rodgers' fixture's not great. Non-Robinson owners probably still filthy about his last 2 assists. It happens. It's like Watkins got loads of assists last year, like which was never going to be able to be continued. Bowen did it when he got that 200-point season where he got so many fantasy assists, like they just weren't like real assists. Like Robinson's obviously count, but like, it's just it's an absolute killer. Like here's the funny thing: Robinson has gone from 4.5 to 5.1 million, and obviously 9 assists is a big part of that. Fulham have 3 clean sheets this season, 3, and I'm still being punished by Robinson. It makes me question why I've even got a Fulham defender in the first place. I guess Anderson was 4.2, so nice and cheap. I said a few weeks ago when Tete got injured that Castagna was definitely worth the money over Robinson. So far, worth the savings. So far, Robinson's absolutely smashed it. They are due, probably, yeah. Hopefully not this week, though. Unless I get Anderson off the bench. Is Dubravka in the equation? Pope's going to be back soon enough, I think. Would I buy Gyökeres or Muani? Honestly, I don't really know enough about either players. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Like I've seen Gyökeres a couple of times when Amorim got announced as Man United manager, and I watched Sporting a couple of times. And Muani I've seen maybe a handful of times, probably not even a whole hand. So I don't know enough about him. Van Dijk or Gabriel or Robinson to start. Gabriel for sure. Sarr or Semenyo. Like, if you've got a good pick that you can play instead of Sarr, just play them. Like, there's no point in taking the risk with Sarr. He's not like he's not essential to play. He's not like Cole Palmer, you know. Like he's good. He's a good pick. But I think if you've got a decent option like Semenyo, João Pedro, whoever it might be, you just play them ahead of him. I think Martinelli will start this week. I think he'd played like 100. I think he'd played the whole game in the cup when they went to extra time. Would you transfer João Pedro for Raul Jimenez? 31 months, by the way. Thank you. No, don't think so. How much do I think Marmoush price will be? 7 maybe, 6.5, 7. Like he's probably not going to play that much, right? Jackson versus Ahmad and Munoz versus Robinson. I would definitely play Jackson, like no questions. And Munoz versus Robinson, I'd probably play Robinson. Timber or Brennan Johnson. I think I would go Timber. I don't think it's a guarantee that Brennan Johnson starts at the moment. I think does he have an issue? Did I see that? I might be talking rubbish. See if I can find the press conference info. I can't remember. I think I saw that he has a bit of an issue, not like a major problem. Like he might be in the squad, but I just would start Timber. Using sympathy card, it's my birthday, happy birthday, to ask a question that may have come up. Thoughts on Wood as captain? I don't like it, honestly. I think it's fine, but I think Isak and Salah are clearly better, in my opinion. Happy birthday. Start Colwell or Castagna. I would just not take the risk and play Castagna even though I think Colwell will probably start. Between Munoz, Lacroix, Milan, Nico. Who's Milenkovic? Or Hall for Lewis? I'm so confused. I don't know what you're asking because there's 6 defenders there, so it's not a benching question. Like buying Lewis Hall. I would just pay Milenkovic and... Oh, to buy. Oh, right. Okay. I would definitely go Munoz. Okay, to buy this week, I'd probably go for... I think Milenkovic's got the best chance of a clean sheet. Maybe this is a wild card. If it's a wild card question, Munoz, Milenkovic, Lewis Hall. Sorry, yeah, Lewis Hall over Rico Lewis, but it's probably not a wildcard question. Would you sell Colwell if you had 2 free transfers? What are the solid options if yes? I don't think I would. I'd just rather roll, especially if you've got a decent bench. If you're buying this week, I guess it's Lewis Hall or a Forest defender at that price, but I'd try and get to a Liverpool one if you can, honestly. If you got the money, I would definitely go Liverpool over the others. Start 2 out of Colwell, Hall, and Semenyo. Semenyo and Hall, easy. They're not spending 80 million on Marmoush to bench him. Can I present to you Jack Grealish? Is Cunha a good differential option going forward? Not. I don't think so. I think he should be looking to be sold, to be honest. Fixtures getting a bit... I mean, Cunha's fixtures from about 26, 27 onwards are actually quite good. But I think in the short term, I'd probably look to get rid. Would you do Sarr to Ahmad or roll? Rogers bench cover. If you've got a lot of transfers, I would do it. If you've only got like 1 or 2, I'd probably just rather roll. Again, like it's very difficult. It's very difficult to know what you should do because I don't know how many transfers you've got, and also I don't know what your preferences is for the double. If you're one of those people it sounds a bit weird. If you're someone that is going to go for 3 Liverpool and no Everton because you just don't think they're worth it, then you don't need to save as many transfers. If you think you're going to get to the double and think, well, actually, Everton do have Leicester, and I'll just take the Liverpool game as a bonus, and you're going to want a couple, but you need more transfers to do that. So you need to think about that and then decide whether it's worth making the move. Jesus and Gabriel to Gakpo and Nico Williams have Haaland, 0 in the bank. As a Haaland team, that's probably quite all right, actually. Start with Visser or Ahmad this game week. I'd probably go Ahmad, I think. Quite close, though. The fact that Marmoush will be the most expensive Egyptian player of all time when Salah exists is so funny. Salah was a bargain. Like, I've really not given this any thought, but Salah will probably go down as one of the best Premier League purchases for value ever. Wasn't he like 30 million or something? That's absolutely insane what he's done. Like, he's one of the best Premier League players ever, so to get him for like 30 million... I know it was 8 years ago or whatever, but still, ridiculous value. If you could, would you do Solanke to Haaland? Yeah, for sure. Like, obviously, it would block a lot of other stuff, so I wouldn't do it. But yeah, if in isolation, Haaland was the same price, I would definitely do it. Should I use wildcard? If not, now. Do you need a wildcard? Probably not. I would save it if you can. I think most people should be looking to use the wildcard after game week 29. It's easily Ronaldo because they flipped him for 80 million. But didn't Gareth Bale go for similar money and Spurs? I guess they didn't buy him though. No, they did buy him, did they not? He was at Southampton, right? Nah, not having Ronaldo. He wasn't in the Premier League long enough. How many years was he in the Premier League for? I don't think he was. It wasn't that many, right? I should know this really. Can't remember. I'm old now. My memory is not what it once was. He was there for quite a while, wasn't he? 6 years. Yeah, I mean 12 million. Yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, Salah's definitely up there though. I did say I haven't given it much thought. Bada-bum. Bum. Bada-bum. Bum. 7 years, including his yeah, we'll forget about the comeback season. Start Visser or Ahmad. Oh, I did that one. Oh, I did all these. Jimenez or Kanate to play. Jimenez, I think. If I had Jackson, would I sell to a double game week player next week? I would be tempted, yeah. Here's the thing, right? Jackson, I think he's really good this week. I also think Jackson looks pretty good from 27 onwards because he's got Southampton at home and Leicester home. But that Southampton game is a midweek fixture. I think there is a chance he gets benched, depending on who Chelsea have in the FA Cup, if they're still in the FA Cup. Honestly, if you've kept Haaland this long, you might as well just keep him for Ipswich and get rid of him afterwards. Honestly, like if you've held him throughout this great fixture run, you've got to give him the last fixture. I think. Play João Pedro or risk Sar. I would play João Pedro even if Sar was fully fit. Personally, will you play Diaz? I would play Diaz. Yeah, if I had him. I think he'll start. Captain Palmer. I'm probably not going to take the risk, but I think he's fine. He probably will start. I don't think they messed up Haaland's starting price, but yeah, Salah should be a bit higher. They had to put Haaland's price up because his ownership was just too high. But I mean, I've said for ages that the prices need to be a bit higher generally. Like Salah's now 70%. If he's in the Premier League next year, he'll have to be 14 million, I think. Salah, or at least like 13 and a half maybe, if they don't want to risk what's happened with Haaland. So I don't I don't know. Again, I haven't really thought about this too much. I don't think they need to look at Haaland as so good. He has to go to 15. Everyone else stays around 10, 11, 12. I think they just need to make all those players a bit more expensive. So next year, instead of just now panicking on Haaland and putting him down to 11 and Salah up to 15, like Palmer, Saka, Salah, Haaland should all probably be over 12, 12 and a half. I mean, Salah's probably, I don't want to say overperforming, but he probably is overperforming. Let me look at the numbers. Let me see. What's he done so far? Damn, 16 XG already. Mental. 20 returns. Not that high overperformance. Assist-wise a bit, maybe. Rob T is updated. Is that because the numbers for Calvert-Lewin were wrong? Let me see. Final goal projections. Gakpo 0.45. Like Solanke not even on the freaking list. Like, honestly, it's insane. Chris Wood 0.72 projected goals against Southampton. That's huge. I should be buying him, really, shouldn't I? Dun, 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 dun. Solanke 0.39, same as João Pedro. The penalty factor. I'm so tempted to sell Solanke to Wood. It's just not the kind of move I've made this season. Projected FPL goal points. Why is Solanke never on these? Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he's right down the bottom. Oh, terrible. I don't know. Maybe I'll do Solanke to Chris Wood. I feel like either way, or if I do Solanke to Wood, or if I just raw, I'm going to just hate it next week. Either way. I just want to keep. Solanke's becoming like Bruno Fernandes. I almost just want to see it through now. Exactly. Solanke's got Leicester next week, but people are coming into the stream late and stuff. I've got 5 free transfers next week if I don't make a move now. With not much to do. That is the issue. Not really an issue, but yeah, Solanke might need a rest at some point. 4 free transfers. Jackson to Wood is so tempting. I'd be less worried about doing it for Jackson just because of the fixture. I can always do. The thing is, right? I could do Chris Wood back to Solanke. I don't know. If I was 100% sure I was going to Gakpo, I'd probably do it. Because then I know I can get to Gakpo, I'll have 4 free transfers, and I'm done with Liverpool. I don't know. I don't know. Because next week I'm not going to want to play. I don't have to bench Chris Wood, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know. Have 2 free transfers. Also thinking of the blank in 29. Need to get rid of Sar. Again, like you have to decide: are you going to have enough transfers to deal with that? Like, if you want to get rid of, I think you want to get Ahmad, so just buy Ahmad. But like, would you have bought Ahmad if he hadn't just scored a hat trick? That's the question. Why do we need differentials? We just need players that are going to score points. When is Chris Wood playing, by the way? When's he playing? Not that this should make any difference. Oh, he's not playing until Sunday either. Oh, he's playing at the same time as Solanke, and Solanke's on TV. Oh god, now I'm thinking if I make the move, I'm going to be watching Spurs with no Spurs players. Solanke's going to score in like 5 minutes. I'm going to be waiting for Chris Wood returns. It's just not going to happen. That should not come into my thinking whatsoever, by the way. Is Chris Wood a better captain than Isak? Probably not. Obviously, being on TV or not should not make any difference, but like I can't help but think about these things sometimes. Would you spend a transfer on a goalkeeper to get a full squad for bench boost? Valdemarsson feels wrong boosting with a non-starter. I wouldn't bench boost with a non-starter. It depends. If the other 3 players are genuinely your bench players and they're amazing, then it might be worth it just to get it used and then not have to worry about it later. But it depends who the other 3 players are. And if that goalkeeper's good this week and it can help you in the future, that's even better. Start 3, Hall, Trent, Gabriel, Munoz, Robinson. I would bench Munoz and Robinson probably. Got 2 free transfers. Would you do Enzo to Ahmad or play Rodgers? I would just play Enzo probably. Start Rodgers or Diaz. Diaz easily. Van Dijk or Lewis. Van Dijk. Play Colwell or play Timber or transfer Munoz in. Play Timber. Start Nico Williams with a rotation threat. Nico Williams started a lot of games. He's got Southampton. You're definitely playing him. Enzo or Rodgers? Enzo. Will you play Diaz? Yes. Start 2, Sarr, Pedro, Semenyo. I would bench Sarr out of those. I got the points from Semenyo midweek, but I think I will play Enzo ahead of him due to fixture and his due a return. I'd rather play Semenyo, personally. I think Enzo's good, but I think I prefer... And plus Enzo's a slight doubt, right? Is there any rumours that Haaland is injured? Not that I've seen. There's rumours that he's not great FPL value right now, but that's about it. No Foden news that I've seen. What Foden news are you expecting? Like Man City don't play until Sunday. I'd say now, if I do Solanke to Wood, the idea of captaining Chris Wood will never enter my mind. Not at any point will I think about that. I just need to... Radio... Would you buy Semenyo or Ahmad with 5 free transfers? Ooh, I think Semenyo might be better longer term. To be honest. Start Ahmad over Gordon. Come on. Should I use bench boost? My bench is Robinson, Ahmad, and 2 players who don't start. I mean, the answer's at the end of your question there, right? Gin or vodka? I'm drinking H2O. What happened to all the team leaks of seasons past? They've kind of quietened down a bit. I think it's probably for the best as well. Quite like it. Isn't Mateta a better pick than Wood medium term? Debatable. I think Mateta's far. Mateta's even more expensive than Wood, isn't he? Here's the funny thing, right? So I know everyone thinks I've got this big thing against Chris Wood, but at the start of the season, obviously Mateta did really well. So he was not super popular at the start of the season, but he did get mentioned quite a bit in pre-season. And I said I thought for 7.5 million with Mateta's under. I did think Mateta wasn't on penalties, so it's a bit different, right? But with his underlying stats, I wasn't sure that he was worth 7.5 million compared to other players that were cheaper. Like Mateta's stats last year and this year are better than Chris Wood's. So like that's why I've been so hesitant to get him. Obviously, I've been absolutely annihilated by him along the way, but. Will I start Sarr ahead of Rodgers? Yeah, I probably would. I need the rationale for Salah captain over Isak. Do you though? Really? Like after what's happened this season? Like Brentford's a really good fixture. Bournemouth's probably tougher. Although Isak is at home, so it's close enough. But like, Salah's just really good. I understand the feeling that Leicester are going to score, but isn't really the Leicester away fixture better than the West Ham? Yes, but I'm going for the attacking potential. Fowler or Stan Collymore? I don't know. Neither. Van Hector, Canate or Roll? If you're having to play Van Heck, I think the Canate move's quite good. I do have slight worries about Canate's ability to stay fit, but I think if he can stay fit, he's a great option. Doodle-doo. Doodle-doo. Best Martinelli replacement 6.5 or lower. Semenyo? Probably. Maybe Ahmad. That feels a little bit knee-jerky. Salah has 87 points at home, 124 away in equal number of games. Is it relevant? Probably not all that relevant. You have to probably go and look at the fixtures. What were the odds for the two blokes sat at the car wash? We're both watching this stream. You should go and say hi if that's true. If you're at a car wash, go and say hi to Gary. Sell Jackson for Wood or Roll? I'd probably lean rolling unless you're stacked with like 5 free transfers. Bench one of João Pedro Semenyo. Bench one of João Pedro Semenyo Ahmad. Ahmad. Will Jackson be benched? Unlikely this week, I would say. Doodle-doodle-doo. Can't decide on my... Honestly, I know some people are struggling with captain. As soon as I saw that Enzo quote about Palmer being a slight doubt, I switched captain to Salah and I've not given it any thought since. Like, if this was 2 game weeks ago, people would not be sat here thinking, oh, I can't decide over my captain. Like, you would just have it on Salah. Like, what's really changed in the meantime? Like, basically, what's changed is Salah's blanked against Forest and Isak's got a 16-pointer. And Chris Wood has got 3 goals in a row. If you still have Haaland, you need to be all in and captain him. If not captain him, you need to get rid. Way too much money. I don't agree. Like, if you come this far, it could be for any number of reasons. It doesn't mean you have to captain him. But I do quite like him as a differential this week. Did I forget that Salah is historically bad in January? Yeah. I didn't even know he was historically bad in January. What was the first game week in January? Was it game week 19? No, that was in December, wasn't it? Yeah. So Salah played right at the end of the December and got 1 goal, 2 assists. But then January hit and he's like, oh, just a goal now. Just a goal. Vicky, thank you. So should we sell Salah until game week 24 when it's February 1st? Doom. Who take we won't get into that right now. Who takes penalties if Palmer's off the pitch? I actually don't know. My assumption would probably be Enzo next. Remember they've had a few fights in that team for penalties, Jackson and Madueke. But my guess would be Enzo. If Enzo's not on, no idea. Maybe Jackson. Yeah, usually he's playing African Cup of Nations in January. But not this year. Captain, Haaland, Salah, Isak, Wood or Palmer. Probably Salah for me. Went Haaland game at 21. Effective ownership of others. Kill me, almost cost me big red before Ahmad. 15k rank, nice. I'd probably go Salah. Honestly, I just don't pay attention to stuff like that. Like, Salah's blanked in January, so be it. Like before. Oh God, I can't cope with the constant narrative change. Like before he blanked against Forest, there was people talking about his away record. Now he's blanked against Forest. Now we're talking about January. Like, come on, Salah's great. Like, we don't need to think of reasons that he's not good. He might blank. It doesn't mean it was a bad pick. I'll still probably captain him. Like, are we saying we're not going to captain Salah against Ipswich at home because it's the 25th of January? Come on. We're talking nonsense now. You're all going to captain him next week, right? Most of us are anyway. Why is no one talking about Mateta? I've talked about him a few times in this stream. Bench 2, play 1, João Pedro, Saliba, Rodgers. I would bench Rodgers probably. I do think Saliba is definitely either going to play or not be in the squad. I'd find it very unlikely he's on the bench and comes on for a cameo. Captain Salah, risky. Yeah, it's risky. The guy's got like... This is why the form stuff has made me like someone said to me that Chris Wood's in better form than Salah. Like Salah's got 23 returns in the 12 game weeks before the Forest blank. Like if that's out of form, like someone needs to explain to me when form starts and when it ends, because like if Salah's now slightly out of form, like that just doesn't make any sense to me. Bench 2. Oh, bench 2. Well, it's Saliba and Rodgers. That's easy enough, I think. I'm on dilemma. Bench Munoz, Robinson, or Sarr. Only bench 1. I'd probably risk Sarr in your case and bench Munoz and just hope for the best. Watch Salah blank now. Yeah, possibly. I mean, if Salah blanks, I'll just captain him against Ipswich, I guess. Bench 1, Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, or Hall. Robinson. Bench 1, Trent, Robinson, or João Pedro, Robinson. Which one to bench? Trent, Gabriel, Robinson, or Hall? Robinson. Damn. Bench boost for Bruggen, Robinson, Sarr, and Rodgers. I probably wouldn't do that. Sarr's a doubt. Rodgers a bad fixture. Oh, I need to... Apparently a Saliba is out, but I can't find any legitimate news saying it. Exactly. There is no legitimate news. I've got Rodgers and Colwell on the bench. What's with all these benching questions? Some people have just got great squads. Some people just aren't in a position where they've had injuries and stuff like that. Now, obviously, a big part of the game is just luck. Sometimes you luck into no injuries. I've not really had many major problems, to be honest. It's part of the reason I've been able to save transfers. Let me just quickly look at this. People are talking about Mateta, but I think a lot of people have just got Isak, Chris Woods. They've only got one more spot, and like Mateta's fine, but he's not must buy or anything right now. Like he's a good option. He's a really nice pick, but people are just happy with their forwards for the most part, I reckon. If you had to start one of Rodgers or Enzo, would you play Enzo? Yeah, I would. Jared, you've asked me that loads now. I've yeah. Didn't know you watched Jaffin until your super chat the other day. Yeah, I catch it the odd time. I really like it, to be honest. It feels so different to everything else that James does on his channel. I know he's been doing it for a long time. And the thing is, I know Flav didn't take my super chat that well. I won't repeat what he said because this is a family friendly stream. But I actually find his it's always obvious which manager he's talking about. Even though he says it's not, it's obvious who he's talking about. But I actually find it really funny. I find those tweets he does really funny. But Ange's got to go, hasn't he? Like, come on. Got 4 yellow flags with Carwell, Johnson, Palmer, and Sarr, and 1 free transfer. Would you risk it? I mean, if you've got to play them all, I'd be making a transfer, I think. Possibly Brennan Johnson. If you can bench one of them, I think it's fine. When you doodle do, what are you doodle doing? Like singing, you mean? Or Gakpo can drop out of that team at any time, but risky. But he started so many games since like game week 12. Like every game since game week 12. Nunez just not doing that well. Jota's like can't stay fit. I don't think Gakpo's minutes are perfect for what it's worth, but it's a little bit tempting. Should I use my one free transfer on Enzo for who? I would just probably keep him. I'm playing Robinson ahead of Munoz. That's fine, but still need to start one between Munoz, Sarr, and Rodgers. I think I'd be a little bit tempted to risk Sarr, but it's a hamstring that does put me off a little bit. If you're not sure about it, I would just play Munoz. Is Chris Wood essential? No. Crystal Palace signed a new winger. Is that a concern for Sarr? Well, I'd say it's more of a concern for Sarr than it is for Eze. I think Eze's pretty much nailed. But we'll see. It might Sarr's played really well. I don't see him just coming out of the team straight away. There's not going to be a Diaz update based on what Slot said yesterday. You're not going to hear anything else. I'd definitely be keeping Luis Diaz, though. Third attempt at Super Chat. It only puts a message if you... It only puts a message in if there's room to write a message, basically. You got to pay... same when I go on Blackbox and do Super Chats, you got to pay a certain amount to be able to write something. Timber to Robinson and Martinez to Elanga or Gibbs White for free. I don't like buying Gibbs White or Elanga, to be honest. I don't think they're going to be that amazing after this week. I'd rather go to Semenyo, maybe Ahmad, possibly. Rodgers is also really nice from next week. Timber to Robinson. Again, I'd probably just keep Timber. I think Timber and Martinelli will start. I'd probably just play them both and not use transfers. Will Arsenal ever keep a clean sheet again? Probably not. Best goalkeeper replacements have both Sanchez and Flecken. I'd probably go to Pickford, but you don't need to make a move this week. Just play Sanchez. Question for the double game week. What do you think about a double Liverpool defence and Salah? I think that's fine. Yeah. Actually quite like it. I like Trent Van Dijk, Salah, or even Trent Canate, Salah if Canate stays fit. I actually think double Liverpool defence fits in quite nicely for a lot of people's teams because most of your attackers will probably be quite good in game week 24 and 25. Surely Palmer plays 90 or 0. I will set my vice captain to Salah and hope Palmer plays. Yeah, I think that's fine. But there is always a chance, even if it's small, that he's on the bench and then comes on, right? Is Palmer... This is all my thinking is Palmer so much better than Salah this week that I'm willing to take an even slight risk that he is benched? And the answer is no. That's why I'm going Salah. I have Isak and Wood, need to sell Cunha with 0 in the bank. Visser is pretty good from next week. It's not the ideal week to buy him, but he's a good long-term pick, I would say. You could just go down to João Pedro, Raul Jimenez. There's probably someone I'm missing. I can't think off the top of my head. You're only Super Chat Black Box to troll Az, exactly. But Az had a good week, I think, so I couldn't really say anything this week. Cammy, thank you very much. Would you play Enzo or Mbeumo? I'd probably play Mbeumo even if Enzo was fully fit, I think. Yeah, Jackson to Wood is a bit like Solanke to Wood for me. I get why you're looking at it. I think Jackson's better than Solanke this week, though. Thing is, if I bring Chris Wood in, there's still a part of me that will want him to blank. If I bring Chris Wood in, I'd actually be quite happy with a blank because it means Chris Wood hasn't got more points. Maybe that's win-win. I bring Chris Wood in, he blanks, I'm happy. I bring Chris Wood in and he gets a hat-trick, then I'm also happy. You don't think Isak's a better captain? He's on fire. Do we not think that Salah's also a little bit on fire? Let's look at Isak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Dude, that is pretty good. 14 returns since game week 14. Salah is on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So he's one behind. Salah's got one less return than Isak since game week 14 when Isak started banging them in. If you had Ammo, would you start him over Eze? Probably not. Eze's been great. Eze's had the same amount of returns in the last 3 game weeks as Ahmad had in the last game week. Play Hall or Robinson. Hall, get Mbeumo for Semenyo next game week, or Ahmad, or keep. I wouldn't buy Ahmad next week. Mbeumo for Semenyo, maybe, yeah. I would prefer to keep Semenyo, I think, and just get Mbeumo some other way. But if it's between the two, I'd rather have Mbeumo. Free transfer Sarr to Alanga, I probably wouldn't do that. Sheriff, 39 months, thank you very much. Start Sarr over Timber and Nico Williams. I really don't know if Sarr's going to start. The fact that it's a hamstring really, it's why, like, I'm confident that Palmer and Colwell will start. Like, for Palmer, it's like an ankle issue. I'm really not convinced that Sarr's going to start. I think for some people it's worth the risk because they've not got good bench options. But Timber and Nico Williams, I'd be tempted to play both of them. I think Palmer will start, for what it's worth. In which case, he's probably a pretty good captain. But how long do I dare keep Castagna before Tete is fit again? I really don't think it's worth spending too much time thinking about. Just wait until it happens. You might not even want a Fulham defender at that point. What will it take you to move from Solanke to Chris Wood? I don't know, to be honest. Great question. I think if I buy Chris Wood, then disaster strikes next week and I need 5 transfers. That would annoy me a bit. But Sarr was spotted in training, yeah. Yeah, fair point. I think Raul Jimenez will start, yeah. But 4 transfers is going to be enough next week. I think if Solanke had a word, I could spend like 5 hours talking about this, and I still wouldn't come to a conclusion. If Solanke had a slightly worse fixture next week, it'd be so much easier to do. If Solanke had like Everton away, followed by, I'm going to be realistic, like Fulham at home, I would probably do it then because Chris Wood's got Southampton at home, Bournemouth away, and he's on penalties, right? But because Solanke has Leicester at home next week, it makes it so much worse to do it. Sell Enzo for Alanga and start him over Rodgers. I'd just play Enzo, probably. Like, Rodgers is pretty nice from next week, so you could just start benching Enzo then. I'd just play Enzo. I've bought Chris Wood in this week, but it feels very anti-FPL. Whatever I think about Chris Wood as a... like that he's overperformed, or that I don't think he's a great captain this week compared to other options. He is just a good FPL pick this week. There's no doubt about that. Nobody can argue that. So I don't think you should hate yourself. I don't think it's anti-FPL to buy Chris Wood before Southampton at home. Make transfers. I'm bored. Yeah, I'm probably not going to. I'm going to get to 5 free transfers for the first time. Maybe I'll just do Anderson to Mikalenko next week and have 5 transfers at the double. I don't know. I don't think my... The one thing about next week is my attack looks good. Defence, not so much. So let's say I wanted to sell Gabriel to fund a move for João Pedro to someone. I've only got Greaves against Liverpool and Anderson against Man United at home on the bench. So whoever I bring in for Gabriel would have to be playable that week. And Everton have got, in game week 23, Everton have got Brighton away. So it's not the ideal week to bring them in. Sell Sarr or Smith Rowe first. I think I'd rather keep Sarr, even though he's a slight doubt this week. It sounds weird to say that because I just don't think Smith Rowe's great moving forward. Why not sell Greaves next week to an even cheaper? I don't think there is anyone cheaper. Start Fabianski or Henderson. Fabianski. Will I be looking to get rid of Trent after the double? Probably not, because he's got Southampton at home in game week 28. Jumping on the right stats-defying players is a big part of FPL. Is it, though? Is it? People, like, it's so easy to say that after a player's done really well. Like, okay, here's my question to that is, which other player that has bad stats is going to do really well now? And I'm not saying Chris Wood's got bad stats. I'm talking in general. I think Chris Wood's good. Relax. Overnight, I ended up having 3 flags. I would just roll. You never know what's going to happen. I agree with that when you've only got like 2 or 3 transfers, but I've got 4. And I could have nothing to do next week. That's the big difference. Yeah, that's a great point. Calvert-Lewin is also on penalties, and his stats, I'm pretty sure they're similar to Chris Wood. He's not defying FPL, unfortunately. He is a bad finisher, to be fair. I'm pretty sure, I can't bother to look it up. I'm pretty sure Calvert-Lewin's similar. Not many double game weeks this season, free hit 24. I would definitely not free hit 24. You're going to want that later on, in my opinion. Is this... And also, like, there's only 2 teams doubling in 24. One of them's Liverpool. You're going to want Liverpool players outside of the double. Is this all right? Ray, Gabriel, Hall, Aina, Palmer, Salah, Alanga, Gord, Alanga, Foden, nice. Wood needs that captain. Yes. 3 free transfers. Rodgers, Van Heck, Greaves, bench. Get bench cover or roll. I'd probably roll. Love a bit of rolling. Keep rolling. Replacement for Enzo, 7.8 in the bank for 1 week. Gordon, if it's for 1 week, I'd maybe go Gibbs White for Southampton at home, but Gordon otherwise. Omar, 25 months, thank you very much. Start Robinson or Timber. Should I transfer Fabianski for sales or roll? I'd probably roll. Just sold Strand Larson for Calvert-Lewin to cover the potential Sarr injury. Am I crazy? And do I start Calvert-Lewin or Sarr? If you just bought him in, I'd start him. Why not? And is Botman more nailed than Hull? I guess I would have to say yes, but I think they're both pretty much the same kind of nailed. Have you ever been, or are there any talks about being in a Luke Pingu video? No. Never been on, never ever been asked. And I also believe that he did a video once basically saying that he hates fantasy football. I could be wrong about that. I'm sure I was watching a video. He was with someone else. I don't know how much he hates fantasy Premier League. I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me. Who is the FPL GOAT? Salah. Easy. Where's... Sorry, I'm just thinking... Oh, yeah, I thought I missed a question there, but nope. Jackson to Chris Wood, 4 free transfers. Oh, you're in the same position as me. I probably wouldn't do it. It depends. Have you got a move for next week? If you've got a good move for next week, I'd roll. If you don't, I'd be tempted to do it, similar to me with Solanke and Chris Wood. I can do a captaincy poll, yeah. Maybe I should do that at the start of the stream. Your Game Week 22 captain... So it's probably Isak, Palmer, Salah, someone else. Sorry, Haaland and Chris Wood owners. You're going to have to go into the someone else category. Would you play bench boost with Fabianski, João Pedro, Castagna, and Sepp Vandenberg? Probably not. Congratulations on the 2nd channel post. Thank you very much. That video is doing way better than I thought it would, considering I've not mentioned it until now, and I've not tweeted about it or anything. I just uploaded it. The funny thing is, on that 2nd channel, I told myself, right, that I would just not overthink it. Just record something. If it's rubbish, it's rubbish. Just upload it. Doesn't matter. But I've got a video already recorded and uploaded. I haven't set live yet because I'm thinking, do I set it live on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, or do I put it out on Sunday morning? How is it going to do better? I should just set it live. So there is another one ready to go. I did promise I would do at least one more video on that channel in the next week, and there's already one recorded. And in that video, I talk about my favourite car park in Galway, because that is how dull I am as a person. I probably will put it live today, maybe this afternoon. If you want to check it out, you can go to. If you go to my YouTube channel, my FPL one, and scroll down past the videos, there's a link to it. It's not the football channel, it's the other one. I should probably get rid of that football channel, to be honest. I don't see me doing videos on that anytime soon. Maybe next time England are in a tournament, I'll do like one thing. I can I don't want to spoil which is my favourite car park, so you'll have to watch the video when it comes out. You should start a car park review channel. I do have lots of opinions on the car parks in Galway. I will say, watching it back, I'm not happy with the camera work as I go around the car park. I move a bit too quickly, so it's a bit like it's not great camera work. But do you know what? I'm an amateur, so. I also had like I also recorded in somewhere like in a shop, and I actually say in the video that's like one of the worst moments of my life. Like I was so paranoid the whole time I was in there. Like I had my phone covering the screen in case like someone saw me record. Even though people do that all the time, right? They record in places, but I was like, what if someone sees me? Like, I'm not actively trying to record people. What if someone sees me doing it? They might like have a go at me or something. I can't tell you which. I can't tell you which is my favorite car park. It's an absolute spoiler. It's like spoiling a Netflix show, you know. Anyway, let's get back onto FPL. Start 3: Trent, Gabriel, Nico Williams, Hall, and Munoz. Trent, Gabriel, Nico. I think if you've got Nico Williams, you've got to play him. Southampton at home. Draft question: should I hold Johnson or get Matoma instead? I would get Matoma if you can. Pretty sure someone will get Johnson if I drop him. I think Matoma's fine though. Also, Captain Jackson or Vardio draft. Jackson easily, I think. Is it worth replacing Sarr? Got Timber bench. No, I don't think so. You could just play Timber if you want to. I have Raya, Trent, Gabriel. I'm hoping this team will last me a few weeks. Raya, Trent, Van Dijk, Gabriel. Wow, that's nice defense. Salarama, Bruno, Palmer, nice. You got Fernandez, so you're set really. Isak, Raul Jimenez, João Pedro. Looks good. No Chris Wood though. Absolutely set. No, I'm messing. Bench 1, Semenyo, Delap, Sarr. Sarr, I think. Is this all right? Raya, Gabriel, Hall, Aina, Palmer, Salah, Alanga. I did that one. Yeah. That's right. Captain Isak. You can go for Isak Captain if you want. He's certainly not a bad pick. 2 free transfers, Milenkovic and Hall in, or Milenkovic and Gakpo. I'd be tempted to get Gakpo, honestly. Like, there's risk there. I don't think he's guaranteed to be starting every game, but still. Have I ever met Roy Keane in the car park? Not yet. What am I planning on doing with all these saved transfers? Probably making some transfers at some point. Probably bringing in some Everton. I'm gonna save transfers and not get Chris Wood so that I can buy Everton players. How's that for a strategy? I feel like I've created some suspense now over the car park. Doom, doom, doom. Ahmad, Hall, or João Pedro to start? Probably João Pedro, I think. I'm taking them penalties. Looking to change up my defence. I've got Saliba and Gabriel and was wondering if Trent was a better option. I would do Saliba to Trent, yeah. I think that's a pretty good move. I don't think you necessarily get massive points out of it this week, but yeah, I would look to move that on eventually. If Roy Keane said you've parked in his favourite car parking space, would you move? No, probably not. I do, like, I don't necessarily have favourite car parking spaces. Like, I don't have a favourite car parking space, but like a specific one. But I do have certain places in car parks I prefer to park. Like, oh God, I'm so old. I'm so dull. It's unbelievable. By the way, I haven't gone round to different car parks. I just happened to park in the car park I like, and then I said, by the way, I basically say this is my favourite car park in Galway. Bench 1, Ahmad, Sarr, or Jackson. Sarr. João Pedro. The thing is, you know what people say, right? They say you should make things that you enjoy, and it has makes my it does make me laugh when I think about it. So I think I've made the right video. In one transfer, João Pedro to Gakpo. What do you think? I quite like it. Yeah. My rank is 3 million. Would you captain Palmer or Isak in my position to chase rank? Or is that going different for the sake of it? No, I don't think that's going different for the sake of it, because I think they're really good options. I'd be tempted to risk Palmer, because I think with the flag, even though a lot of people will still captain Palmer, I think with the flag, you'll get more movement to Isak. So I think the highest captain player this week will be Salah, then it will be Isak, and then it'll be Palmer. So I'll be tempted to go Palmer in your position. That's not different for the sake of it, honestly. That's like different for the sake of it. Will be like captaining Ahmad this week now after last week. How come I'm not doing in Burma to Gordon? I can't afford it in one move, and I don't think it's worth 2 transfers personally. Haaland captain over Salah. I think Salah's better, but I don't think he's miles better. So if you want to take the differential route, go for it. Okay, so just to explain for anyone that's just joined, I've made one video on a second channel, and I've made a second video that's not yet uploaded, which I'm going to upload. I'm probably going to set live maybe today, maybe after this stream. And in that video, I talk about my favourite car park, basically. That's really not what the video is about, by the way. It's got nothing to do with car parks. I just happened to mention that. Anyway, let's move on. Just hit 8,000 subscribers on that channel. Nice. Would you play 4 at the back or play João Pedro and bench one of Trent, Gabriel, Hall, or Munoz? I would play João Pedro ahead of Munoz, I think. Oh, it's really exhilarating, yeah. To be fair, I've not put any expectations on this second channel, right? Like, I'm not pretending it's the new Mr. Beast, Casey Neistat, etc. It's just me, and I am dull, so... Do you know what I mean? Set your expectations. Isn't Gordon the same price as in Burmo? Maybe, but I bought in Burmo very cheap. Harry. Okay. Start Fabianski against Crystal Palace or Pickford against Spurs? Fabianski for me. There I was thinking FPL was niche. FPL is pretty niche, to be honest, in the grand scheme of things. Maybe not quite... I suspect. Do you know what? I wonder if. I wonder if there's maybe. I suspect a YouTube channel dedicated to car parks has room for more subscribers than an FPL channel. I reckon. Hall, Timber, Robinson, bench one. Robinson, I think. Thoughts on the best forwards to buy from next week? I think Visser's definitely up there. Solanke has got good fixtures, even though everyone hates him. Isak, obviously, as well, but most people already have him. In fact, actually, the longer if you haven't got Isak, the longer you put it off, actually, the worse he probably becomes. I might sell Isak before the blank in 29. Doesn't have to end with car parks. Do all public services and amenities. I'm sure people are already doing that. It's probably that kind of stuff's probably better on like TikTok or Instagram than it is on YouTube, but it can still work. Daniel, I'm in the same position. I got 4 transfers. I'm probably rolling as well. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure. I probably should roll. Start Rico Lewis or Delap. Probably Delap. Maybe I will do a video going around different car parks. Start 3 with Munoz, Colwell, Gabriel, and Robinson. I'd just bench Robinson. Sorry, I'd bench Colwell out of those. My name is Tom and I'm 12 and I'm top 400k. Can I get a shout out? Top 400k, nice one. Keep it going. Remember, consistency with FPL is key. You've got to keep playing because people will drop out, so you'll just go up the ranks. It's great. Rolling 1 free transfer. Is the bench fine? Let me see. Fabianski, yeah, definitely. Looking at the rest of your 11, there's no reason to play any of those players on your bench. Ooh, yeah. I just realised I've listened to this. My Queen playlist is going through for like the 2nd or 3rd time now. Explanation with Murphy, way better than Gordon. Way cheaper than Gordon. Murphy's pretty good, yeah. And it doesn't look like he's going to lose his place anytime soon. I think Gordon's more secure for minutes, but it's hard to see Murphy coming out of that team right now. So for value, he's probably good. But I think Gordon is just a good pick. On 4 free transfers, ain't Neri Cole to Munoz. Want to go for Hall for 2 weeks, but can't make it without moving Bruno to Gordon. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Munoz is pretty nice. Or you could just go for a Forest defender. Or if you're not needing to play this defender, you could buy an Everton one. That is your favourite car park in Preston. I can't really remember, to be honest. And also, I wasn't driving when I lived in Preston, so I wouldn't have been so on it with the car parks. Sell Jackson for Wood. I don't think I would do that, but I don't think it's a terrible move. I really don't. Is there a rule about not captaining the early fixture player? There is. Basically, if people don't want to captain the player in the early fixture, then they tell you that you can't captain a player in the early fixture. But if they want to captain the player in the early fixture, they forget about it. So if you want to go for Isak, do it. Start 2 out of Rodgers, Martinelli, Matoma, and Visser. That's very niche. I'm going to say Martinelli and Matoma, I think. Visser's good, though. Visser is good. Who's better to start this week, Vardy or Robinson? Ooh, I'm going to say Robinson. He's got that good goal threat, you know? Who should I captain? Salah, Palmer, or Isak? I've got those 3. I'm going Salah. Hall, Trent, Robinson, Munoz in, or Enzo in midfield. I think Enzo will start, so I'd probably play him ahead of Munoz, I think. If you don't want to take the risk, it's a very close decision. Just play the other 4 defenders. It's honestly fine. Could you see Lewis start this week? I think so. I was a little bit surprised he didn't play last week. I know they played Nunez, but I think he'll come back in. Mustafa, thank you. Start João Pedro or Sarr? Definitely João Pedro. Up my name. Am I stupid for benching Odegaard over Robinson? I wouldn't say you're stupid, but I wouldn't do that. I think Bournemouth will give Newcastle a tough time. It's never easy going away to Newcastle, I get it, but I think they'll give them a tough time. Play 2, Sarr, Robinson, Hull. I'd probably play the defenders. Start between Gabriel, Cole, and Castagna. I probably wouldn't take the risk with Cole, even though I think he'll start. I'd just go Gabriel, then Castagna, then Colwell. Ollie has Sablanki as well. What do you guys know the rest of us don't? We don't know anything. We do not know anything. It's the beauty of FPL. Nobody knows anything. No, but generally, I'm tempted by Solanke. It's Chris Wood. I've got no interest in Savinho. Once Ipswich gone, the fixtures get worse. Also, he takes up a midfield spot. Like, who does he even come in for? Why do people transfer out Diaz even though there's a double game week coming? Because a lot of people just cannot cope with owning Liverpool players like that who don't always start or don't always return or get subbed early. So they bring them in after returns and then they take them out when that stops. Should I free hit to triple up on Newcastle, City and Forest? No, I wouldn't do that. Will I buy Saka back when he returns? It's just impossible to answer. When's he returned? Like, he's been out for so long, I would definitely want to see him start a couple of times. Arsenal probably unlikely to double this season, so it's very possible that I will not own Saka again this season. I think there's actually a really high chance of me not owning Saka at all for the rest of the season. He's expected back the 8th of March, which is game week 28. I'm not going to buy him for 29. Then I'm wildcarding. Arsenal do have really good fixtures to end the season, like 31 to 38. But with no double, it's going to be very difficult to justify him at that price. So, yeah, we'll see. Never say never, but I just don't know. Start Rodgers or Visser. If Anderson was Castagna, would you still bench him? I think it'd be much more difficult, but I think yes. Start João Pedro or Sarr. Do that one. 21 minutes. Am I buying Chris Wood? Probably not. Harmony. Transferring Burma to Gordon, what do you think? I don't mind it, but honestly, from next week, I think Mbeumo's better. God, I've just realised, right? I've only got Isak from Newcastle. It's Southampton next week, isn't it? So actually, Gordon's probably better next week than Mbeumo. God, it's going to be horrible next week not having Newcastle players. Wood is blanking this week. I'd find that quite funny. I won't lie. And I'll find it funny even if I buy him. Jackson and Matoma for Gakpo and an Eze midfielder. Triple Liverpool for double. Jackson. Or Wood and a 7.3 midfielder. I think I'd rather take the punt on Gakpo, honestly. No, I think that's quite nice. 2 free transfers. Gabriel to Munoz. Jean Pedro to Wood, or better to roll. Sanky, Isak. Honestly, I'd be tempted just to roll it. Wouldn't Isak versus Southampton be a better captaincy shout than Salah versus... I don't think so, right? Salah's at home. Mbeumo to Gordon and Solanke to Wood. I mean, for this week, yeah, it's definitely better. Long term, not so sure. I'd be pretty happy with Mbeumo from next week. Maybe a little bit less happy about Solanke, but still happy enough. Because Leicester at home. Do you know what's going to? Honestly, I can already picture it. Chris Wood hat trick this week, and then he's going to outscore. He's going to score 1 goal against Bournemouth and get 9 points. And Solanke's going to blank against Leicester. Would you transfer Murphy for Enzo or roll with 2 transfers? I would probably roll. I think Enzo will probably play. Jackson captain over Isak? No. I would probably captain all those players you've just mentioned over Jackson this week. Even Chris Wood. Saving money in the bank is proving difficult for the assistant manager. Another reason why getting Saka later on, if you're using assistant manager late in the season, will be pretty difficult. Depends which manager you want to go for, though, I guess. Is Gibbs White overlooked? Maybe a little bit, but honestly, from next week, I don't think Gibbs White will be in the conversation at all. I mean, if he does what Ahmad did against Southampton, then people will talk about him, but there's less reason to buy him next week. Watkins or Munoz to start. I'd have to go Arsenal though, isn't it? But he's on penalty. I think I'd have to go Watkins. Got exact money to do João Pedro to Gakpo or roll. All I can say for anyone that's thinking about buying Gakpo is if he starts getting benched the odd time, how much is that going to frustrate you? Because if it's a lot and you're going to want to get rid of him, just don't buy him. If you're happy to cope with that because the fixtures are good for the next few, then yeah, I think it's good. Ray Diaz Larson out to sells Eze and Wood for free. I wouldn't be selling Diaz right now, I don't think. There's no need to really sell Raya either, in my opinion. I might do Solanke to Chris Wood. I'm a little bit tempted to do it. Yeah, Jota just doesn't have a great record of staying fit, unfortunately, which is a shame because he's such a good player. Like he's obviously not like Reece James levels or stuff like that, but he's still not great. Does blank game week 29 hinder me in getting Palace or Newcastle players? Not necessarily, but I guess you just got to have it in the back of your mind of how you're going to deal with that later. Like it does put me with Eze and Munoz already and Isak. It does put me off a little. Like I don't think I would go for Hall and Gordon right now for my team, for example. Like I think Hall's good, but I think there's other defenders that I could go for that don't give me headaches later as well. I think you should. What do Solanke to Wood? Maybe. Yeah. Still have 4 transfers next week. Pro Football Edits, thank you. Bench Bruno or Rao. I'd probably bench Rao Jimenez, but I'd like to play both of them. Is there a guarantee that Trent plays all these games in the double? Nope, not a guarantee. I think it's pretty likely, though. Do, 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 do. Hall or Munoz, and why? I go for the guy at home. Hall. He's also pretty attacking as well. Not as attacking as Munoz. Ignoring Everton double game week is adequate. You can definitely ignore it if you want to. Yeah, I like the fact they're playing Leicester at home though. I had a dream you captain Chris Wood. Bring him in as no. There's no way I'm captaining him, but thanks, Arson. Timber or Robinson to join Gabriel. I'd play Timber, I think. João Pedro and Gabriel to Wood and Mikalenko for free. I probably wouldn't do. I could do that. I think I probably wouldn't. I said to Praz yesterday because he's got Chris Wood. I said to him, what's your plan with him? Because I was interested to know what someone like he would be thinking about in moving forward. And he basically said he's not. I can't remember exactly what he said now. But I don't think he's looking to sell him anytime soon. But he does say he's going to bench him quite a lot, which makes me think he's not all that useful after this week. It's interesting though because in game week 29, Nottingham Forest do have Ipswich away, so there is a chance I probably want Chris Wood at that point. João Pedro to Wood and Saliba to an Everton defender. If so, which defender? I'd probably risk Mikalenko, but the safe picks are probably like Tarkovsky basically. I guess Branthwaite, the first choice partnership. 2 free transfers. I think Branthwaite's fine at the moment. 2 free transfers, Havertz to Gakpo and Sarr to Eze. I think Havertz is fine this week. If you can just do Sarr to Eze with 1 transfer, that probably sounds okay. I don't know if this is the time to buy Eze though. Wood to Cunha in a few weeks could be like, yeah, it just makes me think, why do I need Chris Wood in the first place? I remember when I basically wildcarded in game week 6 to get Salah captain for game week 5. It just went really bad. It just feels like 2 transfers to basically have Chris Wood for this week. Had 5 free transfers, done a 1-week punt. Sarr and Raul Jimenez to Wood and Foden captain. Nice. Good luck. Would you sell Diaz now before the double? Probably not. Don't think so. Haaland captain. Nice differential. I prefer Salah, but there's not a lot in it. Sarr is a doubt. Yeah, hamstring problem. Yeah, I mean, if Chris Wood scores a hat-trick, then yes, the transfer is definitely worth it. Have I dreamed about, had nightmares about FPL? I don't know about nightmares. The FPL has probably been in my dreams, let's be real. I can't remember a specific example right now. Your plans for the double game week. Get a 3rd Liverpool player, maybe get 1 or 2 Everton. Exactly, basically it's going to be Pickford, maybe Mikalenko, possibly Gakpo. I think it's less likely to be Diaz simply because he's a midfielder, and I've got good midfielders already. Maybe Van Dijk, maybe Konate. I'll have to decide next week, basically. Wood has only had 2 double-figure hauls. Yeah, but this one could be his 3rd, right? I have Gabriel Munoz, João Pedro, finding it hard who to pick to bench. Well, Rodgers has got Arsenal away. So, yeah, there you go. I would definitely bench him from your attackers. Defenders, is that Pedro Porro? I mean, Aina's, yeah, it's probably Aina, Hall, and Gabriel, I think. Start 2 of Timber, Munoz, Robinson. Timber and Robinson in addition to Gabriel. There you go. Forest have already been through the tough fixtures and Wood scored during those. See, I think people's no, the Chris Wood hype went down for a while. Do you know why? Because he got 2 goals in 8 game weeks. 5, 6, 7, 8. So you say that he kept scoring through the hard fixtures. He blanked against Newcastle. He blanked against Arsenal. He scored against Ipswich. He blanked against Man City. Scored against Man United. Blanked against Villa. Blanked against Brentford. Blanked against Spurs. People forget that period of time because he scored 3 in a row now. And because he's just scored against Liverpool. Chris Wood is human. He will blank at some point. I hate to break it to you. He will blank. Players do blank sometimes. Probably not this week, though, because it's Southampton at home. If you want to find my other channel, just go to my YouTube channel and just scroll down on the front page. You'll find it. I'm not obsessed. I'm not obsessed with Chris Wood at all. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate to what people are saying. Like, well, he's gone through the bad fixtures and he's done really well. Like, he's super consistent. But there was a period where he got 2 goals in 8 game weeks. That's just like forgotten about. Start 2 out of Munoz, Havertz, Semenyo. The attackers for sure. Thoughts on using Arna slot chip in 24? I'm pretty sure I'm not going to use the assistant manager in 24 because it's 2 away games. Liverpool will be odds on to win both of those games, but it just feels like if there's ever going to be a slip up, it's like it's a derby against Everton, the last derby at current stadium before they go into the new stadium. It's Bournemouth away, who are a really good team this year. It just doesn't feel worth it. I don't know if there's enough upside there. I might end up using it on a low upside pick later on, but I want to give myself the opportunity to maybe go a bit more. I don't know, try and get that table bonus basically. Like if Liverpool had Leicester at home and Southampton at home in the double, I'd probably just use it on slot, even though there's no table bonus. You've got pretty much 2 guaranteed wins and a lot of goals in the process. But Bournemouth away, Everton away, it just. I don't know. Because I've used my triple captain, I know there's going to be weeks later on I can just use it instead. No more news on Palmer other than what we got yesterday, basically. Should I start Flecken or Henderson? Probably Henderson. Bench 1 out of Trent, Gabriel, Hall or Robinson? Probably Robinson. Would captain, yeah or nay? Not for me. I'm not sure what the first part of that means, if I'm honest. Why did I decide to start Munoz over Anderson? Just attacking potential. I think it's quite close. I could play Anderson instead, but. Oh, less than 10 minutes to go. Do I buy Christopher Wood? Thing is, there's no point. There's no point in me doing a poll about it because I know exactly what it's going to be. Bench 1 of João Pedro, Amad or Iwobi. Probably Iwobi. If you had 4 free transfers and over 4 million in the bank, would you play Sarwa Gordon? Probably, yeah. 2 free, because you got Southampton next week as well. 2 free transfers, Enzo to Amad or Roll. Probably Roll. Now, there's no point in doing a poll, right? It'll be like 80-90% buy Chris Wood because everyone loves Chris Wood. He's super high owned. Everyone's got him, so people always want you to buy players they've got, right? And obviously, it's Southampton. He's just a good pick. Let KSI decide. He won't respond to my messages. Am I not tempted at all with Isak captain? Not really, no. I think Salah's just pretty great. Wan-Bissaka or Robinson. Munoz, Gabriel, Castagna, bench 1. Probably Castagna. I can't wait to flog Diaz after this game. After this double game. Yeah, fair. I thought you said after this game. I thought there's no chance you're going to do that. It's against Southampton. Nothing to think about. But there is. There's more than just this game week, right? There's 38 game weeks. It's about how many points you get over the whole season. Obviously, if Chris Wood gets a hat-trick, those 17 points would be quite nice. Thing is, I could just roll and just do Gabriel to like a Liverpool defender like Konate. That could just be my move next week. I don't know if I want to go double. I don't know if I want to sell Gabriel. Do you think captain and Palmer are making Salah vice captain is safe? I think it's safe enough. I'm not going to risk it, but I think it's safe enough. Bench 2 from Colwill, Rodgers and Anderson, double up. Bench 2, Rodgers and Colwill. 5:50 a.m. in New York City. Just joined. What did I miss? 5:50 a.m. Fair play. That's dedication. You missed chat about my favourite car park. There's been a couple of conversations about Chris Wood. Just a couple. Would you bench João Pedro or Hall? Lewis Hall, I think. even though he's pretty good this week. Do, do, do. When will I bring Haaland back? A bit like Saka, there is a chance I just don't have Haaland for the rest of the season just because of his price and how well Salah's been doing. Man City do have pretty nice fixtures, I think, from 30 onwards. Like, for the rest of the season, they're pretty decent. But let's see. Let's see. Solanke to Gakpo is a better move. Not this. The thing is, though, I could do Solanke. I've said this already. I could do Solanke to Wood this week, and then I could do Wood to Gakpo next week. And that is an option. But Solanke's pretty decent next week. Honestly, against Leicester at home. Not a bad option whatsoever. Do, 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 do. If it was reversed, would you advise us to sell Solanke to Wood? Oh, good question. Probably not. I'd probably say something like, yes, Wood's better this week, but I think from next week, Solanke's actually not bad, so it's probably better to roll the transfer. Now, if you said to me, what would you do it? But I've also got 4 free transfers, and I'd be like, maybe. It's probably quite close. That's probably what I would say. Evan Nielsen and Jota to Mateta and Alanga, or just roll? I think getting rid of Evan Nielsen and Jota sounds quite good. Would I go Mateta and Alanga? Not necessarily, but I don't think it's terrible. Best third Liverpool player, Van Dijk, Alisson or Gakpo. If Gakpo gets the minutes, it's probably him. Otherwise, Van Dijk. Chris Wood, captain, has rise up. Good luck. Is it bad that I have Foden on my wildcard owned for 5 weeks? Not for this week. Sarr to Ahmad for free or roll. If you've got no bench, I would do it. Otherwise, I would just roll. 2 free transfers. Did Timber to Hall to bench Gabriel? I would have just played Timber, to be honest, and Gabriel. With Trent and Robertson as the others playing, but I don't know whether to do Iwobi to Alanga. I would just roll. I don't think you needed to make the first move, to be honest. Like, Iwobi's got Leicester, it's fine. Start with Visser or Sarr. Visser. The Angels. You personally think Forest are a better attack than Spurs? Do you really think that? Honestly, do you think that? Because when you look at the Premier League table, Liverpool have scored 48 goals this year. Chelsea and Arsenal have scored 41. Forest have scored 30. And Spurs have scored 43. So Liverpool, who probably best team in the league, I mean, they're top, right? 5 goals more than Spurs. Now, I haven't gone back and checked exactly when those goals came. It may be that Spurs recently have just not done that well. But Game Week 16, they scored 5 against Southampton. Game Week 15, they scored 3 against Chelsea, 3 against Liverpool, none against Forest, 2 against Wolves, 1 against Newcastle, 1 against Arsenal, fair enough. Like, I think the Spurs attack is pretty good. I think I mentioned that on the video this week. Like, Solanke's only 2 attacking returns behind Chris Wood. The problem is he doesn't score as many goals and he's rubbish for bonus, so he's 40 points behind. It's nuts. 2 attacking returns, but 40 points. That's how important goals and bonus are. Solanke's got 12 attacking returns, but 7 goals. Whereas Chris Wood's got 14, but it's 13 goals. That's the key. That's the key thing. But in terms of Forest having a better attack than Spurs, I think that's just not true whatsoever, to be honest with you. Who would you bench? Sarr, Mateta or Jackson? Easily Sarr out of them. Like, I would bench Sarr even if he was fully fit out of those. Nithin, thank you. Apologies if I've pronounced that incorrectly. Time to bring Chris Wood in 2 minutes left. I don't think I can do it. I think I'm just going to roll to 5 for the first time this season. I just need Solanke just need to match Chris Wood. Match him. Even if that's 2 points. I'll take it. I wish I had 3 transfers. I wouldn't even be considering this. Having 4 transfers is like is a killer. God, imagine if Solanke outscores him. How good would that be? What's the news about Brennan Johnson? He's a bit of a doubt. I don't think we got much more than that. Just during the stream, do you think Cole will start? I think he probably will start. I wouldn't use a transfer just to get better bench cover, to be honest. I don't really want to join you Chris Wood owners, though. Defense. Oh, I've only got a minute left to decide. I'm gonna like the look of my bus team next week. I could just get Solanke back next week. I'm gonna have 4 transfers and not much to do, but that's 2 transfers. I'm gonna roll. I think I'm gonna roll, but I could. If Haaland had the same numbers as Isak, we would captain him. If we owned him, maybe, yeah. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna hold. Let's roll FPL. No Chris Wood. I'm already not looking forward to Sunday. That's the first time in a while I've been like a little, like even slightly stressed at deadline over a transfer. I'm locked in. Correct decision. I don't know about that. I really don't. I really don't. I'm already picturing tomorrow afternoon. I'm sat there watching Spurs, and the it's going to be 0-0 after like 10 minutes, and there's going to be the commentator's going to go, "Oh, there's been a goal for Nottingham Forest," and I'm going to swear, and I'm already going to know who it is. Marco, 10 months, thank you very much. I flipped a coin on Wood or Salah. Captain got Salah. You never wanted to captain Chris Wood. Just like the thing is, right? I tweeted the other day saying, "Let's be serious. We're not people aren't captaining Chris Wood." I got loads of replies about how he's a good option. I'm going to captain him. Most of those people won't have captained Chris Wood, and they'll say, "Yeah, but he was a good option." You're saying he's not a good. No, my point is, no one's going to captain him. They're going to captain like Salah and Isak and Palmer. We can say he's a good option. He's a good option if you don't own the better options. Like how many? Put in the chat now if you genuinely captain Chris Wood. If you actually went through with it at deadline. You're unsubscribing. Nightmare. I probably won't sleep well tonight. Not because you've unsubscribed, but because I don't own Chris Wood. There is a few people that have captained him. By the way, give the stream a like. Hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed it as well. I need to do the sleeper draw, and as always, I freaking forgot to set the names up. And there's loads of people that got 9 predictions correct. If you want to get your sleeper predictions in, join the Let's Talk FPL Pick'em League. There's a link in the description below. You're gonna have to watch me now type out some names. ABHIITH 7 Maple Leaf BC. Sorry, this is very boring right now. If you don't want to watch this, go and watch my just start video on my other channel. Philabs. Elite Pete, what a name. Magius Carlson. Wonder who that's about. Let's roll. Such a fussy for unsubscribing. I don't even know what that means. Oh no, did I just... Oh no. People got people's names in this. Oh my god. They're too long. It ends... Oh, West Ham fan, okay. Shima Herbie 9358. Okay, next time I'll make sure I've done that before the deadline. Apologies. Did I buy Chris Wood? My team's on the screen. That's all I can say. Random name generator. Okay, I think I've sorted this. Let me just go studio mode. There we go. God, the production values on this stream are amazing. Boom. Oh, God's sake, hang on. I don't know why, but my stream stuff wasn't working this morning, and I had to set it up. So if I just do... Oh, I can't do that, can I? Let me just... Oh, you're watching me have... Hang on, let me just get this right. Okay, there we go. So this is for a £50 Amazon voucher based on whoever got... Basically, all these people got 9 predictions correct in my Sleeper League for Game Week 21. Oh, Elite Pete. Oh, Elite Pete's missed out. It's Miss Magius Carlson. So I'm going to send you a message through the Sleeper app after this stream asking for your email address, and I will send you the voucher. Maybe not today, but I'll probably do it early next week. I owe someone from Game Week 20 as well. There'll be another competition for a £50 Amazon voucher for Game Week 22. You've just got to get your predictions submitted using the link in the description below. Make sure you're joining the Let's Talk FPL League, basically. And if there's a draw where the same amount of people have got the same correct predictions, I'll do a random... Sorry, if more than one person's got the same amount of correct predictions, I'll do a draw like I just did on the Game Week 23 deadline stream, where we're talking about how I'm an idiot for not buying Chris Wood. If you enjoyed that video, make sure to give it a like and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to put a link in the chat for my new channel, which, by the way, is not that interesting, but if you want to watch it, go ahead. So I'm going to spam the link in chat if you want to go and subscribe, watch the video. I'm going to put a new video live about with the car parking later on. Might do it straight after this stream. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please don't hate me when Chris Wood does really well. Please don't hate me. Yeah, it's done. I'm not looking forward to tomorrow. Right, I'm off. Enjoy your weekend. Make sure to give that stream a like. Hit that subscribe button on this channel and the other one. And I will catch you again tomorrow. Is there any Monday game? Oh, yeah, Chelsea game's on Monday. Yeah, I'll catch you tomorrow. It's not going to be fun, is it? Chris Wood. Anyway, enjoy the weekend. See you later.